Hello, my PC students. Now, this assignment we're going to do is going to work with marks and basically just using calculations, but there will be some if statements in here. All right. So first of all, do you see all these lines on list of students? Term 1, do you see the lines? Term 2, term 3, and all across, right? They are a nuisance, or they don't look that great. So I'm going to say to you that we should take them off. So click on your first sheet, list of students, hold down your shift key and click on GWA. So I've got all the sheets grouped. You can tell up here that they're grouped. Now I'm going to start here at row 2, at A2, and I'm going to drag over here quite a ways, and I'm going down like this. I want to take an area big enough that I got all the sheets included. So I want to right click, go to Format Cells, and I want to say Outline None, and I want none inside. So I got nothing there, and say OK. All right, so I'm going to click off right now. So I'm going to right click, say Ungroup the sheets. Now watch. List of students, I've got no lines. Bother me. Term 1, I've got no lines. Term 2, term 3, it's all good. And GWA, no lines. So we're good. All right, we're going to come back here to term 1. And now, for whatever reason, these lines got really separated, so I'm going to bring them back a bit. Okay. All right, so now let's go back to list of students. I think what we'll do here, that's in line 3, that's in 3, that's in 3, that's in 3, and this one's not. Okay, so let's do this 4 sheet. So click on list of students, hold down your shift key, and click on term 3. Now, we're going to make this one a little bit wider. Oh, about the 21 points, I think. No, maybe a little bit wider than that. Let's go about 27. All right, and we're going to center these. And so it just makes it a little bit easier. Now, I'm not going to make them larger because we've got a lot to print horizontally, so I'll leave the size as it is. That's fine. We might want to bring this down, the yellow one, down a little bit. And let's put it on center. Oh, hold on. Here. I want to be here. And I want to go center. Okay, so that looks better. All right, so now watch. I did it for... Oh, look at... The names only went so far. Well, way to go, Lee. So here, select this and go put your center on. That's the only piece. All right, and then here, term 2, the same thing. I missed the center because I didn't go far enough. So you see why when we went the lines, it was better. All right, so that's good. And now, save our work. Go Control S to save. This time for GWA, we'll just do it ourselves. We'll come down here, about like that, center it, and I'm going to come down here a little bit more, and I will center it. Well, did the same thing. Want to be here and center. All right, that looks a lot better. So let's save it. Now, this time, we have to put their marks are all put in. Did you notice that? Quiz 1, Quiz 2, the marks are all put in for you. You don't have to do that. All we have to do is calculate. All right, so now go to term 1, and I want you to hold down your shift key and go to term 3, because we're going to calculate all the marks at the same time. All right, so it tells us that this instructor wants to add quiz 1 and quiz 2 and divide that by 100. Okay, so we've got to say equals, open your parentheses, and we're going to take quiz 1 plus quiz 2. That's what it said. Close the parentheses and divide by 100 to give you a 0.62 or whatever the answer is going to be. All right, then you're going to multiply by 100 to give your percent. So there you've got your mark, but it's only worth 30%. So we have to multiply by 30% absolute, because everybody, it's worth 30%. All right, press enter. And now let's drag your fill handle down. And then I will go Control left single quote to show your answers. And so if you add 18 and 20, that gives you 38, divided by 100 gives you 0.62 times 162%, and a third of that is 11.4, which is right. Okay, so now you've got that done. So now you want to go, and I'm going to highlight these ones and widen them. And I actually should do that here too. Okay, so now the project is worth 30%. So it said equals your project mark times 30% absolute. All right, and you got 21.6 for your project out of 30. And then your final exam was with 40%, so equals your final exam times 40% absolute. Okay, and we're going to drag your mark down. Now we want to add, we want to get your grade here. All right, so we want to say equals sum, and remember the first mark was out of 30 for the quiz, out of 30 for the project, out of 40, which is a total of 100. So your final mark will be 65. All right, now let's click in cell F4, hold down your shift key and click in I13 and make it 2 decimal places. It could have been 1 or 2, but usually with student marks, you either go with 1 or 2 decimal places. All right, and now your remarks. And again, I still got my grouping on because everything's going to be the same here. If the grade is less than, no, my remarks, if the grade is less than 75, okay, so you're going to say equals if. And it said if the grade, so if this mark is less than 75, then, quote, you fail. Quote, comma, otherwise you pass. So let's hope that you pass. All right, how's that look? That looks good. Close my parentheses, press enter, and the first person failed because they didn't get over 75. Okay, so you got fail, few passes, another fail, pass, and fail. Save your work. Now the recommendation is if the grade is less than 80, so equals if the grade is less than 80, comma, then you're going to tell them to study harder. Okay, so quote, study harder, quote, comma, otherwise you're going to say keep up the good work. Quote, keep up the good work. Exclamation mark, quotation marks. And close your parentheses. And so the fails are going to say study harder, and the other ones are going to say keep up the good work. And I'm going to widen the column. Okay, so we've finished that. So now let's click off on the GW sheet. It has nothing on it, which is supposed to have, right? And let's save your work. Now let's check. Term 1, all calculated. Term 2, all calculated. Term 3, all calculated. So very easy when you group your sheets. All right, now this time we want to transfer Term 1 marks, Term 2, Term 3 from each of these sheets and link them so that if anything changed on Term 1, it will automatically reflect here. So go to Term 1, and we want to click in cell I4, hold down your shift key and click in I3. All right, go Control C to copy. And now go to your GWA, and we want them linked, right? So we have to go to your Home tab, click on the drop down for your Paste button, and you want the button that says Paste Link. All right, and there's all the values pasted, and they're linked. Okay, so now go to Term 2, click in cell I4, hold down your Shift key, copy, Control C, go to GWA, and go to Paste and choose Paste Link. Okay, and now one more time, go to Term 3, and we want to click in cell I4, hold down your Shift key, go Control C, and go to GWA, and paste the link. All right, so there's all of your marks. If we look here now, you can see I picked up the mark from I4, I5, I6, term 1, same for term 2, and term 3. So if anything changes in term 1 or term 2 or term 3, then it will be automatically reflected here. All right, so now it says what's your general weighted average? Well, equals average, open your parentheses, and there's your 3 marks for the 3 terms, so your average will be 68.6. All right, grab your fill handle and drag down. Now your remarks, and your remarks here were supposed to be okay, and your remarks, again, we're going to use the same words that we used here. If your mark was, here it said, if your mark was less than 75, fail, otherwise pass. All right, so that's going to say the same. So we're going to say equals if, and you want to say if your mark is less than 75, comma, you're going to put quote, fail, quote, comma, otherwise you pass. So quote, P-A-S-S, quote. And close your parentheses and press enter. And so the first person fails, which is right, and drag down. Okay, so go Control S to save. That's exactly what you want to have. Now, I see at the end it tells you to complete a chart. Well, you don't know how to complete the chart yet because you haven't been taught that. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to end this video here. I am going to do the chart for you just so you can listen and see it. But you're not expected to know it at this point in time. So we'll stop there, save your work.